Hello, and welcome to another episode of Pull Yourself to Places.
It's
I was
it's
trying
like
to be.
it's like I'm sitting next to Rod Serling. Um, yeah, okay.
If
So,
you will.
yeah, picture, if you will, 2
Picture.
idiots sitting behind microphones.
And
Yeah,
here we
you
are
talked
for
me
episode 61 of Pull Yourself to
my
Pieces.
god, how did you talk me into this again?
I'll tell you one thing though. I don't know
Yeah,
why, but
yeah,
well, first of all, um,
yeah.
I want to thank Chris from Motormouth Radio for being on the
Oh my
show.
gosh, yes,
He was a great guest. It was
yes,
awesome. We got to have him back on the show in the future, and
yeah,
we won't
talk
be on
about
the show.
music.
We'll just have him come on, and then we'll just
We'll
leave
just
the
have him come
studio.
and we'll just shut up and
Yeah,
just let him
right.
talk.
Exactly. That'll be really funny.
Hey, that's an easy show.
Um, but I was going to say that oddly enough, the last week or so, we've had a real uptick in our downloads, and not for the more
Wait,
recent
an
episodes.
an an uptick in downloads. Wow, that's like an
Right,
oxy
an uptick
is that an
in downloads.
oxymoron?
Yes,
Yeah,
and
okay.
speaking of oxymorons,
Yeah.
we have a guest in the studio.
Yeah, who?
It's you, Ray.
Oh, it's
Come on
me.
in.
Yes,
All right,
I'm the
yeah.
guest.
Okay. So,
Yay.
how long you
What do
been?
I get?
How long?
What how did you talk me into this again? There better be a box of donuts in the green room for
So,
me,
what do you
that's
do
all
for a
I know.
living? How old are you? Where do you live?
Yeah. Oh,
All right.
wow. Okay.
Speaking of where do you live,
Yeah.
um, um,
Yeah.
you and I had a conversation earlier this week, and I can't stop
Boy,
thinking
did we.
about it.
Yeah. Boy,
Well,
did we.
we talked about the state of the union, our state of the union
Yeah.
of this wonderful United States,
Yeah, and
and
it seems that union is slowly weakening.
yeah, yeah. I'm a little more optimistic. You seem to be a little more pessimistic about certain things, but bottom line is, I think our conversation was really geared towards the fact that th- there's more and more of a divide, and it's not just a divide like politically. And there's no way we can't have this conversation without getting a little political. So be prepared. That's what it's going to be, folks.
Yeah,
Um,
we're
y-
getting political on
we
this
we
episode.
can't. Yeah, we can't not. Okay, but there's been too many articles that I've been reading, and it's from very legitimate sources. I've told you this. I may have mentioned it on the air that I think you cut off, but I didn't completely cut off my media. I get my news from like PBS or AP because they're the most unbiased, and I have to go there because I'm sorry, everything else is just too biased. Everyone else there's too much of an agenda. There's too much big business that owns the media. There's too much billionaires that are controlling what's going to be on those news outlets. Yes or no?
Yes.
So
Yes.
right. So, and I'm not saying that I'm not going to find that in AP or NPR or PBS, but it just feels cleaner. It feels like it's not dirty money, like what I mean. It just feels cleaner. It doesn't feel like
Okay.
it's being that manipulated. Anyway, there's been a lot of articles that I've seen about local governments in different states really, really over pushing their their uh, their political power and getting kind of extreme. And then you know you're worried that, well, this, where are we going? Where are we headed? Right? You said you were worried that we're gonna have like a takeover. We're gonna have a fascist government,
Yeah,
national
well
government.
well, I my big worry is, um, those groups trying to impress their religious dogma on the rest of us. That's my biggest worry, and that's my biggest problem.
Yeah. Well,
I
that's
mean,
because the
uh,
atheist thing. So of course that's gonna
right.
that's not what I worry about. I worry about the freedoms. I worry about
Well, the freedoms, we're talking about women. We're talking about
sure.
women losing a lot of their freedoms more than men.
Sure, sure.
We are two old white men. We are privileged. We own the world, right? Think about it.
Yeah.
I mean, what are they going to take away from us? Nothing. But they're trying to take away a lot of stuff from a lot of other people, marginalized people,
Well,
people
they'll
of
they'll
color.
they'll make it difficult for more and more difficult for people to vote. They'll make it more and more difficult for people to have free speech. They'll make it
Yes.
more and more difficult for us to protest. Ugh,
Yeah.
you
Mhm.
know,
Yeah.
those
Mhm.
are all things we should be allowed to do. And
Well,
and and when you keep taking away things or you keep making laws like that, eventually it's going to come to a point where it's going to backfire on them
yes.
because this is what I said
They
to you earlier in the week. Like perfect example is like the gun laws, right? Okay,
yeah.
no, we want it. We don't want to restrict the gun laws, but what will happen is the more and more power that local governments get in their state, they're going to they're going to put more and more laws into effect, and it might even infringe on their own side's um, rights, like
Yeah.
the right to bear arms, and to what extent. You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Yeah.
Um, so I feel like we are becoming the un-United States.
Well, there's been talk of this union kind of splintering off into, red states and blue states.
Yeah.
Um,
How do you feel about
geographic
secession? Secession's scary, isn't it? I mean, it
um
really.
I'm
I
gonna
mean,
this may sound traitorous, but kind of I don't have a problem with it. I actually think it's a great idea. It means a mass exodus across this country, people zigzagging here and there to get out of a
right,
state
right,
that's deemed red. If you're, if you're a Democrat or a liberal, you're not going to want to live there.
right,
And then let them, do their thing. Let them make those ridiculous, silly laws. Let them force people to go to church on Sundays or whatever. Let them force their views on everybody else in those red states, and let the blue state people, um, come up with our own set of laws,
right,
and the buck stops there. No more blue states sending money to red states. No more of
right, right,
the states that are money making states sending that money to the poor states, because that's what happens.
right,
There are a lot of
right.
states in this union that are welfare states that if it wasn't for the
Or
blue states.
how about the you're gonna have to throw away completely the electoral college, which would be a good
Oh,
thing
yeah, no, no.
because it's not it you know it
You're gonna have 2 presidents. You're gonna have 2 presidents. It's gonna be like the Civil War, except, instead of
but
just
civil.
being no, but just being instead of being confined to the Eastern Seaboard states, it's gonna be countrywide. That's it. That's what
No,
it's
but
gonna be.
if it's a mutual split, it'll be civil without the war.
Well, yeah, right.
But what's bad is that, like, if you live in a state that's kind of like a border state where it's like, it's like it can go either way, one of these type of states,
Yeah.
which you're kind of in one of those states. I'm
Yeah, I'm in a purple state.
right, right. I'm
You know, we talked about this before. The only reason my state goes blue is due to Washington and, Northern Virginia.
right now. If your state decides to secede
Yeah.
and go in a direction you're not, I mean, you're
I have to move.
you're forced, right? You're forced to move.
Yeah. I'd be
You
forced to
know,
move, and then I gotta
and it's
figure out
not
where I'm.
and what sucks is it's not like a split halfway where you got the whole East Coast, you got the whole West Coast, or you split the other way and you got a whole North and South. That's not the way this is gonna go, you know?
Yeah, right.
It
Because if you
really
look at a map
it
if you
really
look at a
doesn't.
map, it's the West Coast and the East Coast that are the most liberal states. Everything in the middle is red,
Right.
practically.
Right. Right.
You know,
Practically. Practically.
our good friend Michelle is moving to, Indiana, right? No, Illinois. She's moving to Illinois. She's moving to a very progressive part of Illinois. Well, Illinois is smack dab in the middle of the country, basically.
Yeah.
But yet there's a nice pocket of blue right there, and I know she's gonna be very happy when she goes there, getting out of North Carolina, apparently, where she's stuck in, redneck country, kinda
Well,
like
that's horrible
I'm
because
surrounded.
eventually I wanted to go to North Carolina, but I'm
Well,
seeing and I'm reading more and more things that are upsetting me,
yeah, I know.
government wise, the government
Yeah,
there
uh-huh,
changing
yeah,
and
yeah,
and uh, and I'm sorry, it's not what I see is not fair.
Yeah.
I'm okay for being fair, but they change the rules, when there's a majority, that's what it is. When there's a majority of a certain side, they start changing the rules, and then they make it impossible for them to ever get out of power. And that's
Right.
not
Of
fair.
course.
There's no balance anymore.
No.
There's no chance of a
No.
balance. You're ruining
No.
the state. You're ruining the
And
state.
here's the thing. I see it from both sides though. I can stand in the middle and look left and look right and think, boy, those people on the right, they must really hate it when us liberals get in power. They must hate it. They must hate having to conform to our views and whatever. Just like we hate it when they get in power and they want to.
Conform
Um,
to your
well, you know
views.
what I'm saying.
No, I'm not.
I
I'm not
mean,
really so sure that any of that really happens.
well, I
Did
mean,
you
it's
did
for
during the Trump 4 years? Did you conform to anything?
no,
No. Right.
no, I didn't.
Right.
I didn't. But
On a
that's me.
on a
But
national level, we really kind of like we kind of all kind of just go with the flow because honestly, most presidents are cleaning up the last president's problems. Okay.
oh yeah, oh
That's
yeah,
really what it is. It's they don't have enough time, and then if they're lucky enough to get to get things done, they've
yeah.
also got
Have
to
the House
have
right,
they got to right they got
the
to have
House
the House and the
and the
Senate
Senate right.
behind them. So in all fairness, it works on both sides. But
I guess you're right.
yeah,
Yeah, no, I didn't see any changes in my state. Oh, there were
no,
a whole lot more Trump signs out, um,
right, right.
and rebel flags flying than anything else. But other than that, no, nothing really changed in my state.
I don't understand the anger of that because you don't see flags pushing for liberal and pushing for
No, we
for
don't do that.
Democrat. You don't see
No,
that,
we don't
right?
do
So
that
I'm sorry,
because we're
it's an
not.
obvious sign. It's an obvious sign. You can see it. You can go around
Well,
neighborhoods and you see that's not the case. So
because we're not angry.
right.
We're not angry. We're having a big party, and everybody else is watching from outside. The doors are locked and they can't get in because they're angry and they don't like who's at our party because we're all inclusive. They don't like the people at our party, but yet they want to be in the party because they want to be included, but they can't because of their own just racist ways. That's
Yeah.
the way I look at it. That's the way I look at it. They're all jealous. They're all sad. They're mad because most of them are stuck in minimum wage jobs. They've never made the best of their abilities. They didn't, take it all the way through school. They're failures. There's a lot of failures. There's a lot of people out there who have failed. And you know what? You make your own destiny. And I'm sorry if you failed, but if you failed, it's your own fault.
Well,
And this
yeah,
this adds to that anger. This
yeah,
adds to that anger.
yeah. So what's the solution? So what can be done? What can we do?
I
I mean, what can we do to try to make things better? And then I'll ask another question of like, what do we do if it splits? What can we?
um
I feel like I try to be optimistic, but I almost feel like there's almost no hope for repairing the
no.
divide,
No, there's no
the
hope for repairing
the
this.
physical divide. Now, if that the mental divide, let's put it that way, right? That
Yeah.
now, if that leads to a physical divide,
Yeah.
or worse,
Yeah.
somehow, a total, uh,
Collapse?
yeah, sure,
Yeah.
a
Anarchy?
total
Yeah.
collapse of our democracy. What do we do? Where do we go? Where do we go?
We talked about freezing our asses off in Canada, but I mean, they have the same problems up there too. They have two parties and they're always fighting it out.
Right.
So it's not much better.
You
I
know
don't
what?
I don't
I've been told that the two-party thing doesn't work, and that's why you have
no,
that.
no, it doesn't work.
No.
There shouldn't be, first of all, parties, groups of people
Right.
that get paid large amounts of dark money from interests that want to control what the politicians say and do. That
Yeah.
needs to be banned.
Yeah.
I think the parties, both Democrat and Republican, need to go.
Yeah.
No more parties.
It should
You
be
just
like a council. And I mean, if the council is 10 members, or probably better off it being
why
11.
what first of all, I don't even think we need a council. I don't even think we need a council. I think we need people to step up and say, I want to be president of this country. These are my ideas. This is what I have. And if you can try and please enough of the people that are going to vote for you, you'll win. So it's a matter of, let's say we had 10 different
Okay, so
guys up there.
we start with, in other words, you get rid of the parties.
Get rid of the parties.
You get
And
rid
we
of the
just start,
electoral college.
get rid of the electoral
You
college.
only
We
have
have
popular vote. I'm all for
we
that.
only
That's
we
great
only have
right there.
popular vote. We
That's
only
great
have the
right there.
popular vote.
That works
And
for me.
and sadly though, even if you take out all the dark money, the people with the most money behind them are going to get the most exposure. And
Yeah,
that's sad.
yeah.
That's sad because that gives the rich people an advantage over the
Advantage.
poor schmucks
Sure.
that want to, run for president of this country. But
Right.
so again, it's a rich man's game. Nobody who's poor runs for office because there's no way to saturate the people out there.
No, it's either
So
rich or someone already in some sort of political
right,
capacity.
exactly. But my idea is you just have people with their ideas, and they present those ideas, and we listen, and we figure out who we like the best, and that's who we go vote for. And
But
if
why
there's
does it
10
have to
people,
be one person? I don't. I'm sorry. What I don't like is I don't like the idea of one person. It's too much power for one person. That's why we probably have, what we have,
what
separate
what do
states.
we have?
We have,
But,
well,
but think about it.
we have
But
a Senate, we have a Congress to kind of go
yeah, but think
against
about it.
what
But think
one
about it.
person can
That
do.
that president has veto power, so he is all powerful, basically. I
In
mean,
every,
technically,
in anything, is that true?
I don't know. Seems
I,
like it. I mean,
yeah, I know it does, but I thought
Trump
that
Trump signed a lot of orders. He
right,
signed a lot of them.
right.
He flexed his muscles. What little
Right, because
muscles he has.
because he didn't have he didn't have any he had the Senate, right? I think when he was in there, but he didn't, or
All
for
I
2
know is
years.
he signed a lot of stuff away with that pen. Okay,
Right.
and so could Biden if he wanted to. He could start making a whole bunch of executive orders. Why he
He
doesn't
hasn't
is
been on anywhere of the pace that Trump has, but he has
no.
done. He has
Yeah, he has.
done already.
He has.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Um
again, I don't really think I need um I don't think I need a bunch of people to run it. I think one good person, and that person could be male, female, gay, straight, black, white. I don't care. Atheist, crazy Christian, as long as they do a good job, as long as they cater to what the masses want. Again, so it comes
I
to
see
your
your
vote.
point. I see your
It
point.
comes to the vote.
I still like a council. I kind of like the idea of a
Okay.
council. I kind
All
of
right.
like it. Um I we need to do away with the Supreme Court. Okay?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
goodbye, gone.
Yeah.
Gone.
Well,
Gone.
yeah, up until 4 years ago when before it became before it became crooked, yeah, the Supreme Court actually did a pretty decent job, but not with these religious zealots on it now. No.
No.
And that's a big problem
Yeah.
for me.
No. I thought we were so far removed from that, and how we have, the
Ah,
getting the separation of church and state
no,
has
no,
gone backwards,
forget it.
which is really
Yeah,
amazing to me. And we've gone
yes.
backwards with abortion. We've gone backwards with
Yeah.
with
Uh-huh. Ahead.
with the racism in this country. We've gone
Go
backwards
ahead.
with
Women's rights. Go ahead. Keep
oh
going.
yeah, we've gone.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I don't know if I could say we've gone backwards with gun control. It's just
Yes, we
it
have.
just never seems
Yeah, yeah.
it
I
never
mean,
seems
look,
to.
there are some states now that you don't even require a license. You can just go and buy your gun and carry it around. And those are the red states, oddly.
Because they believe that guns don't kill, people do.
Right. Okay. Whatever. Guns still, people still pull that trigger. The gun doesn't fire itself.
Yeah, and you own a gun. I'm not
I do.
against guns. I'm
No.
against assault weapons that people
Right.
can buy. That's
I would-
just
I would-
wrong. I'm
The
sorry.
thought of buying
There's
an
no
ass-
place for that.
no.
What do
Why
you
don't
what does any person need an assault weapon for?
To murder other people. That's the only reason you need an
I
assault
can't see any
rifle.
other reason.
That's it. Technically, my one gun could do the same. Now, do I want to go out and murder a whole bunch of people? No. I bought my gun to protect me from those people. There's a difference.
Did you hear
Now, if
about what
I
happened in
was
Texas this week?
I heard. I
Right, because I know
completely
you
heard
weren't
it.
following, but I know you heard. That's
Yeah,
very
I heard.
disturbing, okay?
Of
And
course it's disturbing.
apparently the article I read was like, "Oh, yeah, that's a normal thing on the weekend or on a Friday, whatever,
Yeah,
people come home
right.
from work, they start shooting off their guns late at night in their backyards, they usually get drunk, and then they start shooting off
Uh-huh.
their guns." It's a great combination there, great. Alcohol
Yeah,
and assault weapons, and
yeah,
then
and
someone
stupidity.
complains, and a guy goes over and he kills 5
Yeah,
people. He woulda killed them
yeah,
all, and they
yeah,
still haven't found the guy yet.
yeah,
That's a problem. That's a perfect example of the problem.
yeah,
Perfect example of the problem.
yeah.
I don't know about the guy's mental state. I don't know if all his
Um,
if all his guns
well,
were legal,
yeah,
which could be maybe he had a
yeah,
somewhat a normal state, but you
yeah.
know, and well, we can't blame the alcohol for it. Sorry, you can't blame the alcohol for it. It adds to it, no,
Yeah.
but you can't blame that for it.
No, I'm not blaming the alcohol.
An assault
Uh,
weapon is there's no place in anybody's home for an assault weapon.
yeah, but now you're taking away those wackos' gun rights. See, they all think they have this right to, buy these guns. And technically, the way the law is written right now, they do have that right. Otherwise, they wouldn't have them. So the laws need to be changed. Now, what's going to happen is the backlash from all this. You try and take away, my under my cold dead hands, whatever.
Yeah.
Charlton Heston was the one who brought that one up.
Right, right, right.
I mean, you're going to have a lot of pissed off rednecks. You're taking away their guns, and they're not going to go quietly.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that much.
Yeah.
They're not going to go quietly. I mean, if it came down to it where a law was passed where this country banned every single gun, let's say we did, Australia or Canada, where guns were banned, and I had to surrender mine. All right, well, if everybody has to give up theirs, I'm giving up mine because at
Right,
least
right,
then I
right.
know the playing field is leveled. At least I have half a chance of surviving at that point.
I get yeah. You make a good
You
point.
know,
Yep, I agree.
I'd give it up.
I agree.
But
I agree.
thankfully, I don't have to, and thankfully, I've never had to fire it at an actual person, and I hope I never have to. I hope I never have to kill anybody. But
Right.
the thought of protecting my own life is
You
a
don't need a gun to
comfort when
kill upon someone though.
No, you
You
can kill somebody with a whole lot of other things.
sure.
Baseball
I mean,
bat,
your
a knife.
hands, they're
Yeah.
around someone's neck
No,
if you
well,
get lucky
I
enough,
just had a manicure, so that's out. That's not gonna happen. So, no.
Okay.
And
How about
have
we
you
take a quick
seen
break? Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
have you seen some of these fat guys? You need 4 hands to get around that neck to choke them.
Okay.
Forget it.
Wow. There you go.
Anyway.
Why don't we take a quick break and we'll come back because there's
Yeah,
plenty
why?
of other things
Are
to
we
talk about.
Oh, yeah? We got some other things to talk about? So we're done
Yeah,
talking about this?
I don't. Yeah,
This
yeah,
this the United States of America?
yeah. We can continue on that.
Well, I don't wanna continue. I wanna talk about something else.
Oh, talking about something else. Okay. All
I
right.
have
So
some
we'll talk
things
about
to
something else.
I have some things to talk about. Yeah.
All right. So hold that thought.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm holding
And
it.
you're holding it, huh? All right. Well,
I'm holding it.
I can't hold it anymore. I got to go to the bathroom. So I'm gonna
Alright,
go,
goodbye.
and
Yeah.
we'll be right back.
Okay.
This is Bill, and you're listening to Pull Yourself to Pieces, the podcast, hosted on Anchor. You never heard of Anchor? Anchor by Spotify is a podcast host platform, and it's an easy way to make a podcast. We picked Anchor because they have everything we needed all in one place. You can record and edit a podcast from your computer or even right from your phone. Then you can have your podcast distributed easily to multiple platforms, including Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and much more. And did I mention it's free? That's right. Anchor is free. Download the Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. Okay, and so we're back in the studio. Ray and Bill.
Yeah. Bill and Ray.
Right. Oh, I had one more thing to say about what we were talking about before. You were
Okay.
saying about women's rights.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you and I have ever had a really much of a conversation about abortion. About the
Yes,
abortion.
sure we have.
Have we?
Sure we have. Yeah, we've talked about abortion, yeah.
Well,
we've
I mean, I know
Again,
yeah,
it's
we're both pro-choice.
yes.
It's obvious, all right? But,
Yeah.
um, I'm not sure if we did it on the air or we've had this conversation off air, but, I'm always concerned about, um, when does how do you know that life doesn't start before, um like, when does l look, okay, I'll do it this way. I'll try it this way. In your opinion,
Yeah.
this is gonna be an easy one to answer. When
Go
does
ahead.
life end?
Here's the thing. Oh, when does life end?
Yeah,
I think life ends when your heart stops and there's no more brain activity.
life ends.
That's when life ends, right.
When do you think life
Now,
starts?
okay, here's the thing.
Uh-huh.
When it comes to the abortion issue, it doesn't matter when life starts.
Hmm,
Doesn't matter
why?
because the idea is that the choice to end that life should still be a choice no matter what. Now, I don't believe you could let a child or a fetus go to term 9 months, deliver it, and then slaughter it. That's totally wrong. That's just bad. That's bad form.
But 8 and a half
That's
months?
that's just bad. No, I think it has to be done within a certain amount of time
Okay, okay,
to give the least amount of stress and grief to the mother and
right.
to whatever is, cooking in there. I mean, the
So would you
smaller that
say anything after 20 weeks? 5 months?
oh my gosh, that's not no, I'm sorry. That's pretty large. That's a baby at that point. I think you need to go back before that.
Okay.
I think you need to do something within 4 to 6 weeks.
Oh,
I think I'm sorry, but I think that's your window. I think
well,
once
that's
you know
funny
your
because when you look at, some of the arguments about,
yeah,
abortion and,
yeah.
I mean, yeah, the pro-lifers are like, "No abortion." I mean, okay, yeah,
Oh,
that's
well, of
ridiculous.
course,
That's
right. That's what
no
they
matter
want.
you've been
No, no.
raped or whatever, it doesn't matter,
Yeah,
that's
right. It doesn't matter.
ridiculous, okay?
Yes.
But there's definitely a middle ground that actually works, and I agree with you.
Yeah.
I wasn't even thinking as early as 6 weeks, but you know what?
Yeah.
I could easily be convinced that, yeah, that makes a lot of sense,
Yeah. 4 to
all
6
right?
weeks. Yeah.
Now, w I I know that if we had, some, a woman's perspective right now, which I wish we did,
Right.
they would be like, "Well, some of us don't even know if we're even pregnant at 4 to 6 weeks because we could miss our period, and we may
Right.
not know until 3 months." 3
Right.
months.
No, sorry. No. I'm not taking that as an excuse. Any woman should be able to know by 6 weeks whether she's pregnant.
I
That's it. You go for the
don't
test.
know. I
You
don't
take the
know.
test.
I'm not a woman last time I checked.
Well, neither am
You
I.
might be.
So my opinion on this is moot, okay? Because
Okay.
I don't have a uterus and I'm not a woman. So
Yeah.
anything I say right now, again, is purely my opinion and it has no bearing on whether a woman should terminate a pregnancy or not. It's her choice.
I
And
was yeah.
to take that away, that's just wrong. You don't take
I
that away from a
agree,
woman.
agree. I was just sticking on the fact of what's
Mm,
considered the life, and you know what? Yeah, you you make a good point again, but
yeah.
I also want to see the side that like I said, a woman could skip a period, and now we're at 2 months, okay, 8 weeks already, and maybe she's not sure.
No,
She's get
no, no, no,
yeah,
no. A
yeah,
woman skips a period, and let me tell you, within 30 days, if she doesn't have her period, by the next time her period's supposed to come, and it doesn't come right there and then, that's a sign. It's like, oh, skip my period. Let me go get the test.
okay, we're already at 8 weeks now.
No, no, 4 weeks.
No, her period has come once a
Yes,
month. Period comes once
right.
a month.
Okay,
So if she
right.
skips it, didn't
Yeah,
have it,
that's
now
only
she gotta
30.
wait
That's only
she gotta
30.
wait another 30 days. Now you look at
No,
60 days. That's
no, no, no,
that's
no.
8
If she skips a
weeks.
period, no, it's 4 weeks.
Wait,
It's
what?
only 4 weeks. Look, if a woman gets her period January 1st, and when February 1st rolls around, she doesn't get her period, how many weeks have passed?
4 weeks.
4. And at that point, she needs to go get her test
Why?
because
She could just be skipping her period.
well, guess what? and then she may not be just skipping a period. So I think the
But if she
law
doesn't get
should be
around to doing a test, that happens a lot
yeah.
with women.
Uh, well,
Stress, anxiety,
you know what?
medications they're on. They could skip a period. Skip a period.
Okay.
Skip it. They
All
could
right.
have no
Skip it.
period for
Right.
a whole
Okay.
time there, and we could be at
Still
8
go.
weeks.
No. Still go get tested.
Okay.
I'm sorry, still go get look, if you wanna have an abortion, if you want the right to have an abortion by law, I think there should be some rules, and again, what I say doesn't matter because 'cause I'm not a
No,
woman,
I know, I
but
know.
as a man and trying to use some logic here, I think you'd wanna find out ASAP. So, yeah, if you miss a period, go take the test. It's not like it's $100,
Okay.
okay?
Okay.
Take the test.
All right.
You
Take the
wanna
test.
know, and
All
then
right.
you've got 2 more weeks to act on it. And then
I see what
abortion should be made legal across this country. It shouldn't be,
agree.
there
I should
shouldn't be
no, I know.
certain states have no
No,
abortions. You
no,
can't,
yeah. No, we shouldn't
again,
have we shouldn't be having,
it's
women having to go out of their state. Oh
no,
my
of course
gosh.
not.
This is
Of
what's
course not.
happening, it's just
All right.
yeah.
So
Anyway, so alright, so you got some other things you wanted to talk about.
time to
Okay,
change the subject.
here we go.
You want to know what's going on in Spain?
Uh, sure. That's always on my
Spain
mind.
Spain has now banned dwarf bullfighting.
Now wait a minute.
Yeah.
Now,
You have
I
questions, don't you?
well, sure. First of
Uh,
all,
yeah.
are we talking about
About very
very
small bulls.
small bulls?
Bulls. Are we talking about very small bullfighters? Good question.
Right.
Well, sadly, we're talking about very small bullfighters. And not even bullfighters. We're
Mhm.
talking about the dwarves in Spain that dress up as firefighters or clowns and chase the bulls without killing them at public spectacles designed to be humorous. Apparently, this tradition stretches back, decades, but it has recently declined in popularity. Well, Spain's parliament decided that they want to catch up with the rest of the world and that these small people should not be made fun of anymore. But guess what?
They're not
Some
gonna
of
dress up
these
as
s-
firefighters and clowns
some of
anymore. They're gonna
these
dress as
no,
political.
no,
Oh.
no, some of these small people are upset that this job has been taken away because they actually enjoy it. They don't feel like they've been made fun of. They don't feel like they're laughed at. They feel that they provide entertainment for the people that are at the bullfight to see the poor bull gets, killed. So,
Yeah.
so think about this. So in Spain's attempt to be politically correct, they are banning something that has been done for decades, okay, in fun. Think of it like the circus. When you go to the circus, there's clowns, blah, blah, blah. So think about going to now this bullfight, and there's no more small people running around dressed like whatever they want to dress and enjoying entertaining the crowd. Why? Because politically correctness has taken over. Think about that. In
Right.
fact, the little people actually went out and protested because they're upset. They're like, "You're not letting us do our job anymore.
Yeah.
You're taking a job away from us."
Right.
So
Who
that's
knew?
what's going on. That's what's
Wow.
going on in
Wow.
Spain. Yeah,
That's no bull.
yeah. That's no bull. It's
Yeah.
not much better in Germany. You want to know what's happened in Germany?
Uh, there's giant bullfighters.
No, no bullfighters. No, in Germany, there's a guy who likes to sunbathe naked.
One guy in Germany?
Just one.
Wow.
Well, he's very light skinned, and that it's that Aryan race. Anyway, he likes to sunbathe naked. Sadly, though, he likes to sunbathe naked next to an office building where he can be seen. But there's a but here, and I don't mean his bare butt.
His
I
butt,
mean there's
right,
a
yeah.
but. There's a but. The but is that you have to stretch most of your body out a side window to see him. So it's not like he's out there in the open and people are walking by or taking a cigarette break and looking down and seeing a penis staring up at you. No. You
Wow.
basically have to go through hoops to see this guy. Now, what's funny is the office building where this happens has decided that they shouldn't have to pay a full rent because they're inconvenienced by the guy sunbathing. What do you think of that?
Well, okay, wait.
They
Now,
That's right.
what do we know what the laws are in Germany? Some places, you can
Well,
sunbathe, they're
there
real
the well,
open about
apparently sunbathing is not against the law, but an office building trying to get reduced rental payments because of a
sunbathing means
sunbathe
naked, right?
naked. You're naked, right? You're naked. He's on a nice cot, a
So
nice
what if you're
comfortable
not
cot.
naked? What's that called? Just bathing?
That's just
No.
bathing.
Well,
That's
you're not
just
bathing. I
sunbathing.
thought bathing was you go in the
Well,
water.
all right. Well, it's for him it's nude sunbathing. Okay, so let's
Naked
call it
baking? Naked baking.
naked baking. Yeah,
Naked
hey,
bacon.
that's pretty good.
He's related to
Anyway,
Kevin Bacon.
so yeah, so this human resources company that owns this office or this office floor, the whole
Mhm.
floor,
Uh-huh.
decided that they're going to go to court to try and get their rental payments reduced because there's a naked man down there sunbathing. And the
Ray, I tell
court
you, you shouldn't
said
be doing that, Ray. Oh, okay, sorry.
sorry. Just the fact that that man is sunbathing does not stop you from doing your job, does not
Aha.
stop you from making your money, whatever the business is that you have. It does not impede your ability to provide services or take in services. So the judge ruled against the company, said, "Nope, sorry, pay up. You got to
Wow.
come up." But do you believe this?
No,
Do you believe the
he
balls?
gave them something hard to think about. Yeah.
Yeah, hard to think about. And in the end, it just fell flat. Closer to home, have you ever been to Colorado?
I have to say no.
All right, well, there's a lot of wackos there, and I'll tell you why.
There's a
Um,
lot of wackos in every state.
yeah, well,
On your block. I'm sure there's at least one on your block.
oh, there's a bunch. There's a
Right.
guy that has a full-sized Elvis cutout on his front window.
Really?
Yeah, I'm not kidding. As I drive down my block, there's a 6 foot tall Elvis plastered to his front window that looks at you as you drive by, and it's Elvis Presley. But
Oh,
it's
so
the
he's like
thing that
his eyes are
it's
facing forward so that way as you pass by, he's looking at you?
I don't know. I never really can really see the eyes. I
That's the
really,
whole key of like, if you take when you want to do
yeah,
like a painting or you have a picture,
yeah,
you look
right. The
forward
eyes
so when
supposed to follow.
the eyes
No.
follow you. So like,
Well, he,
is he
he's
in
like
leather? Is it the like the is it
well, he's
the
like the
thin leather?
he's no, he's like the late '60s Elvis. Before the too many trips to the buffet. So
Oh, okay.
and
He's on his
yeah,
way towards the
yeah, the fat Elvis. Yeah,
the
no. And so
heavier
yeah,
Elvis.
there's a life size Elvis in this guy's window
Wow.
again. But anyway.
Wow.
So Colorado, the Colorado Rockies, okay, are a baseball team,
Y- Right.
and their mascot is a giant purple dinosaur.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and he's really cute. There's a picture of him here,
Hmm.
and the giant
Barney.
purple dino. Yeah, well, not Barney, but similar to Barney. All right,
Okay.
similar to Barney, and hopefully he doesn't have a really bad song that makes you want to shoot yourself. Like It's a Small World. Anyway, so
Right.
he was basically dancing on top of the dugout during a game with the St. Louis Cardinals when an unidentified man decided to tackle the creature for no particular reason. So he basically jumps up out of the crowd, tackles the
Barney.
tricerat tri triceratops
Triceratops.
triceratops
Yes, Triceratops. There you
triceratops
go. Wow.
tackles him, okay, out of the blue for no reason, just runs and tackles him. The dinosaur gets back up and starts dancing around and goes, "Nope, I'm okay, I'm fine." Well, needless to say, they arrested the guy, and still don't know why he decided to knock him down. Either he doesn't like the color purple, either he doesn't like
Wow.
the mascot being what he was, or maybe he just had too many beers. Take me out to the
Jeez.
bowl game, buy
Man.
me some peanuts
That
and crackers.
stinks to high heaven.
Doesn't it? Doesn't it?
I got
So, if you were going to eat a bat, would you want it raw or cooked?
Oh my god. Do people eat bats?
Well, cooked bats, and
Well,
cooked as in barbecued, were
Oh,
seized by German officials near the Belgian border. The bats were found under nearly a ton, you ready? A ton of unrefrigerated fish.
wait a minute. What?
Yeah,
Wait.
I'm not kidding.
The
I'm not kidding. There's a picture of a
barbecued
box.
bats
There's a picture
underneath
of a
a
box,
ton of
right?
fish.
A ton of
A ton of fish.
unrefrigerated fish, like just fish thrown in willy nilly. Okay. And there's a box here. The box looks to be about 16 by 30, filled with red cooked bats. Now, so I have some questions. Um, is this a delicacy? Who's eating cooked bats? Because they're just little rats with wings, right? I mean, think about it. Would you want to
Oh,
cook up a rat and eat it? I mean, think about it. I
rat
mean,
burger?
cooked. Yeah, it's a rat burger. Do you see any cows here? Remember that from? Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Do you see any cows here? Anyway,
Yeah.
um. So yeah. So they yeah. So federal officials just happened to stop this van. The 31-year-old driver faces criminal complaint for traffic offenses and unauthorized entry because they entered the country without papers or a driver's license. That's not the bad part. The bad part is when they found all the fish and the bats. Yeah. So yeah,
That's batshit crazy.
yeah. He violated conservation laws relating to the bats.
I feel
Cooked
bad for the
bat.
fish.
Yeah, and the fish aren't doing too well either. They're all they must stink to high hell. That's all I know.
Yeah, right.
That's all I can say. All right. So a man in
Oh, there's
York
more?
County. Oh
Oh,
yeah. Oh, I'm not done.
oh boy.
This is a wacky country, Bill.
Yeah,
Now we're
some
back
some
here.
some
Now we're
week.
home. We're in the United States now.
No, the
Uh, uh
un-United States. Go ahead.
the
Go ahead.
United States. A man
Onion
in York
United.
County. You ready for this?
Go ahead. The
A
what? There's a
man
name.
in York County, Pennsylvania, was arrested Tuesday morning after allegedly leading officers on count them, two separate vehicle chases in two counties.
Really?
Oh yeah, this guy. This guy should be from Florida because this sounds like a Florida story.
Maybe he
Anyway,
was, and he was on his way to Pennsylvania.
so troopers decided to pull over a BMW with Florida plates in Pennsylvania, and they questioned the driver, a guy named Tony Saunders. Well, the troopers said that they could see items in the car Sanders was driving that appeared to be from a nearby convenience store where a theft had been reported. However,
Uh-huh.
Saunders reportedly told police he got the items at a junkyard. There was also reportedly a dog in the vehicle, and you ready for this? And a
Hmm.
dead deer in the trunk. Now, this
Yeah.
is a
Okay.
BMW. And if it's a BMW with a trunk, it's not a very big car. It's not a large car, but there's a deer stuffed in there.
Wow.
Well, this guy Sanders allegedly drove away when the troopers asked him to exit the vehicle. He just shut the headlights and off
Yeah.
he went.
Yeah.
So apparently he tried to maneuver this BMW over some railroad tracks and the car got stuck. So he had to run out
Oh my
of the car
gosh.
into a heavily wooded area.
Wow.
Later that morning, law enforcement officials were notified that a school bus had been stolen in Abbottstown, according to Carroll Township Police. And guess who stole the school bus?
Well, it
Our
wasn't the deer.
friend
Yeah. Right.
Tony Saunders. And
Ah.
guess what they found in the bus when they finally caught up to it? The dead deer. Now, apparently they pulled him over and he ran away. He led the officers on a chase that ended after he abandoned the school bus and ran away on foot while stripping off his clothes. So now you have a naked man
Oh.
running from the police from the school bus that he stole with the dead deer in the back. And when they finally caught him, he allegedly claims that he intended to use the dead deer carcass to fertilize his garden.
Oh.
Fertilize his garden.
Wow.
He's being held on $100,000 bail, and I don't think it's enough. I think it should be $1 million because if this wacko gets back out, I think shit's gonna go down.
Oh
That's what I
dear.
think. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
So there's these two guys, and they're having a
Bill and Ray?
podcast.
Oh.
No, no, two other guys.
Oh,
Two guys smarter than us. Two
there's a
guys are
lot
having
there's a lot of 2 guys smarter than us.
I know,
Most 2 guys are gonna be smarter than
two
us.
guys are
Yeah.
having a podcast, all right?
Uh-huh.
In a
Hey, let's have a
cafe
podcast.
in a cafe.
Wait, in a
They're
cafe?
having they are broadcasting from a cafe.
Did they get the okay to do that or
Apparently, yes. Apparently, they're
Oh,
allowed to.
alright.
So,
We should go do that.
yeah. When Nathan Reeves, the podcaster, says, "Gosh, it's got so quiet in here." And 2 seconds later, an SUV comes crashing through the front window and basically destroys the cafe.
Oh my gosh.
You know that commercial when, that picture of, Kool-Aid comes blasting through the house? Ta-da, here he is. Just imagine a big SUV coming through your window doing that.
Wow.
Yeah, well, it was a Chevy Tahoe, and a woman driving the Tahoe had 2 passengers, had run a red light, and then struck a Ford Escape before crashing into the business where there were more than a dozen people inside.
Anybody get
Needless
hurt?
to say, let's see.
Sorry.
Well, the guy, Reeves, okay, Reeves. Okay. The guy doing the podcast said that the next day he found glass shards in his arms and his legs later in the day.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. The podcast episode showing the crash was uploaded to Reeves' YouTube channel and has amassed tens of thousands of views.
Oh,
So,
wow.
so you're sitting there in a cafe and it's quiet. You're trying to drink your coffee and do your podcast when all of a sudden a big SUV comes slamming through the window into the building and covers you in glass. Just
See,
another
this is
day in
probably
paradise.
why we should start adding video into our podcast for some
You think?
crazy stuff that might happen in the studio. Because we could be in the studio and, a
And
car
what
could come
what?
flying through.
Oh, if only. If only. So that's it for me in wacky news. What do you got?
After that,
Yeah, hard act to follow. I know.
no, I don't have. I only have personal news.
Okay. Oh, really? Okay.
Yes.
Oh, we love personal news. What's your personal news?
Well, my personal news is this.
Yeah.
I'm, continuing the years
Transitioning?
long,
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah.
torture of downsizing our house.
Oh, yes, right. Yeah.
And I was
The
in the
rummage,
basement.
sale.
Right, I was in the in the basement a couple days ago, and I'm like, oh, well, for any of the audience out there who doesn't know, I may have mentioned it. I was a disc jockey. You also did disc jockey work too, but I made it. It was kind of a career for a while there,
Yeah.
back in the '80s and
Yes.
barely into the '90s. It was like
Right.
it was about the beginning of the '80s, all the way until '93 ish. Okay, about when I kind of just called it quits. Music changed, and I got tired of it. And at
Yeah.
that point, I had gotten married for about a year, and I was just like, you know what? I wanted a steady gig job, and so I was kind of out at 1993. So anyway, 13 years of being a disc jockey accumulated lots and lots and lots of, at the time, records, LP
Aha.
records.
Yeah.
And over the years, I have, sold my turntables, sold my speakers, sold my
You sold your gear. You sold all your gear.
sold the gear, and then little by little, I would start
Yeah.
to downsize the thousands of records to be
Oh,
probably
boy.
more like just hundreds and hundreds of records.
Aha.
And so yeah, I came across hundreds and hundreds of them downstairs, and I was like, I like to downsize these things. I'm like, I should have no problem. I should be able to start taking these things out, looking
Yeah.
up online and seeing if they're worth
Uh-huh.
anything. And
Right.
so my assumption was they were going to be
Oh,
worthless.
assumption. Here we go.
My assumption they were going to be worthless, but it turns out that you go looking on eBay, you go looking on a thing called Discogs, which is
Yeah.
another. It's like it's a marketplace, but it's also a place to kind of like find
Trade.
out. Yeah, you can trade. You
Yeah.
can also kind of get an idea of what was released. There's
Okay.
there's communities out there on Discog that you can go back and forth, and you can put your collection up there and let people see what you have, and
Okay.
so So
Yeah.
it's similar to it's obviously it's specifically for music where eBay sells everything, but
Right. Yes.
um, it's more for the collector. eBay
Okay.
more is like if you wanna sell
Right.
your stuff for the collector to buy,
Yeah.
you know?
Okay.
So I'm looking at all these hundreds and hundreds and hundred records, and yeah, there's quite a bit of value in them. But now you've
Oh.
got to, you know,
Yeah.
you look, it's an issue for me because my 2 sons aren't interested in them, and I'm 60 years old now, so at some point, you know, I'm what am I doing with these things?
Let it go, Bill. Just let it go.
Right, but how do you I can't let go
What?
of something that
The
has a
records?
value. I can't just,
Well, do
like,
you have
take these things and
let me
donate
ask a
them
dumb question. Do you have a record player?
buried in a closet.
No,
I'm
you wait a minute. You actually do still have a record player.
Yeah, it's buried up in the closet.
So if you wanted to listen to some of these records, you still could.
Maybe.
I think what you should do is
I don't care about that.
you don't care about
I
that.
have
Well, then
no
get rid
interest
of
to
them.
listen to it as a record.
Then
Um,
let them go.
there's a sentimental value, you
Ah,
know?
sentimental journey. Gotcha. Okay.
Sentimental, yeah, there's a sentimental
Oh,
value to the records.
yeah.
Plus, also, I spent money on them. You know,
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
weren't given to
Lots.
me. I paid
Lots of
money for
money.
these things. So right, so it's hard to, like, just, like, just, like,
Yeah.
donate them, you know?
Well, then don't donate them. Try and sell them.
Do you have any idea how difficult that is? It's gotten even more and more
Yes.
difficult to sell things.
Yeah,
The
I know.
fees that they want, you gotta box up something, you gotta ship it out, you gotta, hope
Yeah.
that it's just it's not easy, you know? I was just recently talking to somebody who I know has tons and tons of comic books, okay?
Yeah.
Tons of valuable comic books. He said
Right.
it's ridiculous what they're worth. But the work to try to sell those things is
Yeah.
ridiculous amount of work, they gotta be graded and then they gotta be sold, it's like, he'd get if he I realistically, he'd have to sell them all as a bunch and he'd get, like, nothing
All
for
right.
it in the value of it,
Okay. Well,
so
I have
it
an idea. I have an
Oh,
idea.
really?
All right. I have an idea. When we lived on Long Island, there were a few record shops where you could actually buy records. Whirling Disc in Hicksville was one. I mean, we used to
Yeah,
go there a lot. We used to
yeah,
buy a lot of records.
yep.
I think what you should do is you should try and track down and see if there is anybody that still has a record shop.
Did
I
that.
mean, oh boy, and nobody.
Well, no,
Now, how about
I called 2 of them that are still around, they've been around for 40 years, I
all
bought
right,
records from them in the past,
all
and,
right. Did
I
you
told
offer
him
to br
about I told him about what I've got, and he's like, "Well, of
Yeah,
course you gotta come in, we gotta see them." He goes, "But most likely we're
right.
gonna give you 10 cents to 25 cents each."
Oh,
I'm like,
that's not
"Oh,
bad. 25 cents a piece.
really?"
Yeah, that's not bad. If you
Some of these things are worth now look,
to who? But they're worth to who?
well, to someone who's
Who are
willing
they?
to spend the money.
But how are you
You
gonna
look
find?
you look on
Yeah.
eBay, if you look up a certain
All
record and
right.
you say, "Okay, I'll look up
Okay.
this record," you see what it's sold for 20,
Yeah.
30, $40. You're not gonna wanna
Yeah.
get 25 cents for it. So,
Right.
so you gotta pull aside. I spent
Yeah.
over 20, maybe almost 30 hours of my last 3 days going through all these things, pricing all these things, and then separating them by kind of like value, and
Oh
putting
boy. Yeah.
the real valuable ones aside. And then you start
Uh-huh.
like thinking like, well, these are really valuable. Maybe I should hold on to these.
Oh boy.
Because
Yeah.
well, 'cause unfortunately the little bit of that collector thing starts, getting into your head,
Yeah.
You're like, well,
Right.
you're right.
Uh-huh.
What are you saving it for? Who are you saving for? Especially if I'm not the kind of person who needs to pull out a turntable and listen to it, because every single one of these songs, and keep in mind, most of this stuff is not albums. It's
It's
not.
12
It's
inch singles.
12-inch
And
singles, right? Most
singles.
of this
I
stuff
know.
is that.
I remember.
Okay. Most of this stuff is available to go listen to online. You
Right.
type it in,
Right, exactly.
dance
Right, exact
version, bam.
Yes.
I mean, even the obscure,
I
really,
have
like,
found
stuff is
Billy,
out there. All
I
out
have
there.
found them on YouTube.
Yep.
I have
Yep.
found them on YouTube. Every
Yep.
12-inch that you've had that I liked, I can find on YouTube.
Yep.
And guess what? There's no scratches in them.
And if you wanted to, there's several, lots of them. There's all kinds of programs out there
Yeah.
that'll listen to the YouTube
Yeah.
link, and it will download in a decent
Yeah.
quality. Yeah,
Yeah.
that audio file for you, and you can just save that audio file, and now you've got it on your computer. You can put it on your
I tell you
phone. You can
what,
put it
how
whatever.
how
It's
many
crazy.
records are if you had to guess, how many records are we talking about?
Now, you mean what I had gone through?
Yeah, how many records do you own currently? How many records are we talking about that you wanna get
It's
rid of? How
gotta
many?
be well over
500?
1,000.
1,000, and what's 25% of 1,000? If they wanna give you 25 cent a piece and you've got 1,000, how much is that? Is that
$250.
two that's $250 that
Yeah,
you'd
but
have.
one of those
Yeah.
records might be worth about $300 to $400, one of them,
But to
okay?
who? But to
Well,
who? The
again,
Phantom? Some guy out there that is looking for this record? How you gonna find him?
well, you can try
That's
through that Discogs,
I mean,
collectors thing, or you can try
alright.
through eBay, and try and sell it around.
Well, then, you know what's free? Craigslist is free.
True.
So take your most expensive ones, the ones that are worth the most money, take out a Craigslist ad. They're basically free, and list, as many as you can of those records and say, open for suggestion. Come up with a price. Buy the whole lot or buy them, by record.
Right.
Decide to meet somewhere like a
Yes.
restaurant or
Yes.
a coffee
That is
place
key.
or
I will never
someplace
forget a
where
story
the
about,
yeah,
you
we
know what I'm
know.
talking about, right?
I know. A guy that a relative that was killed, was
Over coin
robbed
collection.
over coin collection. That's
Coin
right.
collection.
So
Yeah.
what you need to
I'll never
do is
forget that.
that's right. So you
Yeah.
want to be somewhere safe,
Yes.
and you pull up with your records. You ask to
Yeah.
see the money. Say, hey, you
Yes.
got money?
Yeah.
Well, I got
Yeah.
records. You got money. Let's do the trade.
No, no, a little bit of advice. That's real good advice. If you're gonna
Yep.
try to sell through
Yeah.
Craigslist,
Yeah.
definitely do not have somebody come to your house, especially if it's
No.
stamps or
No.
coins or
No. Right.
collectible things. No, 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 no,
Yeah.
no, no, no.
Yeah.
That's just
Yeah.
crazy. So hey,
All right. Yeah.
I think we covered all the stuff we want to cover. Do you think we should take a break and
Yes.
come back? We'll do one of
No.
our favorite What?
No. Why do we have to take a break?
You don't want to take a break?
No.
I got to do the intro for it. Like, how am I going to get into it?
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry. My bad. We need to take a break
Loony laws of the
of the land,
nuns.
and I'll get some water because I'm thirsty. I've been talking too
Okay.
much.
We'll be right back.
We'll be right back.
It's time for Loony Laws of the Land.
Welcome back to another segment of Loony Laws of the Land.
Yay!
As the the Ray
I'm
Fair.
excited. I'm excited,
And
and I'm especially excited because of the state we're in now.
the state we're in the state of confusion, as we always say.
Always.
We are in
What
the
state are
end,
we in,
and
Bill?
we had done New Mexico, so now
Yeah.
alphabetically we are going to New York. Woohoo!
Oh my gosh, my old
New York,
hometown.
New York, a hell of a town.
It's a hell of a town. Something's up and something's down. I
So
don't
these
remember
are some
what it was.
crazy laws in New
Oh
York.
boy. Oh
Yeah.
man.
The old Empire State.
Oh
Here we
boy.
go. So
I'm all ears. Yeah.
apparently in New York, doesn't even say a particular city. This says New York.
Yeah.
It's against the law to sell dog or cat hair.
Why?
And is it attached?
Why is that? The cat comes with it. Hey, I got 10 pounds of cat hair, but the cat goes with it. Oh, you can't sell dog or cat hair.
Apparently,
Yeah.
this is not
Yeah.
just New York. This is apparently that selling dog or cat hair is illegal in a lot of states. How you like that?
Well,
Huh?
first of all, what would you do with the dog and cat hair? Think about it. What are you going to do with it? Make a
I don't
wig
know, but
out of it?
I'm reading that apparently animal hair is really good for cleaning up oil spills. Who knew that? Who knew
Oh.
that?
Oh,
Yeah.
I knew that. I just didn't want to say anything. Yeah, I'm just a fountain of useless information.
See,
Wow.
when a
Okay.
wet dog, he's got that wet look, they got
Oh
that
God, that stink. No, forget the
Yeah.
look. It's that stink. Oh,
yeah, I know.
oh, that stink. That's why I don't have any pets. All right, what else you got?
So apparently it's against the law
Yeah.
to wear slippers in public after 10 p.m. in New York City. That's just
First of all,
stupid.
you shouldn't wear slippers in public at all, ever.
No.
And socks and sandals, that's another faux
Oh,
pas.
I can't stand when people dress like in their pajamas and with like
Oh, all the
slippers and
time.
sandals,
and what you
and
see
they're
them in
in Walmart.
Walmart? Yeah,
Right, exactly.
yeah, I know.
I can't.
They're
I
right.
can't.
They're right out of bed, right into the car, right into Walmart.
But this is
Okay,
in public.
but slippers after 10? I
Right.
mean, that
9:59.
should
It's
be
okay.
but that should be the time that you should be allowed to wear slippers because it's dark. You can't see. What the hell
Right,
is wrong with New York? What is wrong with that place?
I don't know. I don't know.
Now
I
you know
just
why
live
I
here.
left because I
Yeah,
couldn't wear my
well,
slippers. All right,
well,
what's
we'll get
next?
to your state eventually, buddy.
Oh boy. Oh,
So
yeah.
apparently in New York, it is
Mm.
against the law, Ray, to throw a ball at someone's head just for fun. That's not possible that they are enforcing that one.
I do
No,
it every time I
no.
come to your house. I'm always throwing my balls at your head. Just for fun. What else you got?
Illegal to throw a ball. What isn't that dodgeball game? I mean,
Ah, ha, ha. Well, there
Yeah.
you go.
right.
Arrest those kids. Why? Because they're
Okay,
playing
now this
dodgeball.
is probably in a lot of states. It is against the
Yeah.
law to release more than 25 helium-filled balloons at a time.
Oh, for crying out loud! Somebody counts the helium balloons.
Yeah,
You
he
can't
had
release
24 and he's
more than
okay.
25.
I don't think any of them
who's-
should be released because they cause a problem when they go land. They're, problem for
Well, they don't land. They never land. That's the thing. They just keep going up higher and higher.
No, it says they can be harmful for wildlife, which means that obviously they find their way back down. They land they land over water and
Oh,
then they
please, wildlife.
horrible person.
I know. I'm terrible.
So
Go ahead.
in New York, Ray, it is illegal to walk around on Sundays with an
Sunday.
ice cream sundae in your pocket.
Wait a minute. We
No,
saw
it's
that somewhere else.
no, an ice cream cone.
We saw
What?
that somewhere else.
I
There's
know.
another state that
So
you
who
can't
knew,
do-
right? That's actually
Yeah. It's an epidemic, Bill, of stupidity. You can't walk around with a Sunday.
Who the
cone in
hell?
your pocket.
Really? That's where I'm going to
And
put.
why would you-
I'm going to put an ice cream cone, a big, huge ice cream cone in my pocket, right?
Yeah, you know who did that? Harpo Marx. All right, that's what he did. What else
Cup
you
of
got?
coffee. Yeah.
Oh gosh, cup of coffee. Yeah. What else you got?
So apparently, it is against the law in New York to speak to people on an elevator. That's ridiculous. Come on.
What? You can't do what?
You can't speak to people on an elevator.
You can't speak to people on an elevator?
Yeah, no one's enforcing this one.
It's against the law?
When did that ever become? Why would that ever become a law?
I don't know. I have no clue. But we're talking New York. It's a wacky place. It's totally whacked. That's why I left.
Okay,
It's a rat race, and the rats are winning. What do you got? What else?
I don't know how many tigers there are in New York. I guess there
for
apparently
crying-
are, but
oh, for crying
apparently
out
it's
loud.
against the law to take a selfie with a tiger. Who knew? All right, so yeah.
What's the crime? The selfie or taking the selfie with the tiger?
Right. A tiger gets pissed.
What is the crime here? What's the crime here? Does the tiger go, no, please, no, I'm in the witness protection program. Please, no cameras.
right?
Oh.
Tiger. didn't
What if
get
you
to
want its
strike a
autograph?
pose.
What else you got?
Oh my God. Okay,
Oh,
so
they're getting worse. They're getting worse.
Apparently, it's illegal if you do not get a license to hang clothes on a clothesline,
What?
like mom
You
used
need
to
a
do.
li-
in
Wait a
those
minute. You need a
days.
license now to hang clothes on a clothesline?
Yep. Yep.
That's gonna. I'll tell you what. There's gonna be a lot of people from Queens in jail
Clotheslines
because
apparently are banned in many parts of the country. How you like that?
really
Yeah.
clotheslines are
They're
banned.
It says
Why?
they're considered eyesores.
I saw.
Yeah.
Look, if you were Italian and you lived in Queens in the 60s, that's how you dried your damn clothes. It went on the clothesline.
Oh my God.
And then when mom would reel them in, they all smelled like the outside. They smelled like garbage because it was a cesspool. What else you got?
I got one more. That's it.
boy.
Apparently,
Yeah.
men outside of their home must wear a matching jacket and pants in New York. Again,
This must be a very old law.
yeah, there's no way. I don't think any of these are being enforced. Although,
No.
the tiger might be kind of like
Yeah,
thinking
still.
about it.
Yeah.
So there you go. So New York,
Wow.
not as crazy as some of the other ones we've heard.
No, but definitely crazy in its own right, I'll tell you that.
Well, yeah, New York. It's a hell of a town.
Yeah. I don't miss it. I don't know how you stand it, but there, brother. I don't know how you stand it.
I'm stuck here. What am I gonna do for now?
I know.
But we don't know where we're going anyway because the country's
Yeah.
the country's divided and ununited, and before you
Yeah.
know it, there's going to be we're going to be going to
We're
don't know.
gonna move in with Michelle. That's what we're gonna do. You and me. We're gonna move. We're gonna surprise her one day. We're gonna show up and say, "We're here. We're moving in."
So is that what she's moving, huh?
Oh yeah, she's moving. She's got like 20 days, and she's out. She's gone.
Oh
She's
my
very
gosh!
happy.
Wow, she
Yeah.
really did it. I saw
Yeah.
a lot of her Twitter things saying that she was like fed up with a lot of
Oh, yeah.
things, and
Yeah.
good for her. She
Yeah,
packed-
she's moving.
Well, you
So,
know
yeah,
what?
we're
Not
good.
everybody.
What?
Not everybody. She's lucky. Okay.
Yeah,
she's
she is.
lucky. She's blessed. Good for her because
Yeah,
not everybody
yeah.
can just pick up and go.
Yeah.
If they could, I would have already.
Yeah.
Definitely,
Well,
I would have.
this place was not my first choice. My first choice was Arizona, and that was 31 years ago.
Right, but you
You
know
know?
what? And this is my choice is to go down to a little more south from where you are. But you got to go and you got to think that you think that it's always going to be greener on the other side, and
I don't need green. See, that's the thing. I'm okay with desert. I'm okay with Nevada. I'd be all right with
I'm
New
talking
Mexico.
figuratively.
Oh,
You don't know
green.
if it's really going to be greener on the other side.
No, you don't.
Because let's face it, you go somewhere and all you need to do is move onto a block and you need just a couple of idiots on the block, and now you pretty much get this opinion like, oh wait, great, I just moved.
Yeah, right. You're
relieved
stuck.
from
Right.
other idiots
Exactly.
and whatever.
Well, that's
So-
why you need to not move to a block. You need to move to a house out in the middle of nowhere. You need to find that house.
Right.
That
So that
15
right. So that if you
That's-
if you get hurt, it's you'll never be able to get to a hospital, or if someone could
see, I don't
they'd
think
hack
I don't
you up
think that
hack you up in the house. They wouldn't find you for.
I
a
have
month.
my gun. Nobody's hacking me up. I have my gun. But
All right.
yeah, I'd want to live 15 minutes from the nearest store, either out in the desert or in the woods. And right now I'm in the woods and I'm loving it. So
Okay.
things are good. Yeah.
All right.
I'm loving it
Yeah.
in the woods.
All right.
Okay.
All right,
Well, that's our show for
enjoy your
tonight,
woods.
folks.
All right. Well,
Anything you want to add?
no, that's it. I've had enough.
Yeah, me too.
I'm looking
All
forward
right,
to see
so-
what this episode does.
I have no idea.
Right.
I'm going to close with what I tell everybody, and that's to be good to each other out there, because that's one thing we need to do more of is be good to each other.
That could help.
All right.
We need that.
I hope so.
All right.
Well, till next time. Adios.
Bye. Please check out our website, pullyourselftopieces.com.
That's right.
And you can subscribe to the show in Google and Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Breaker, Castbox, Pocket Casts, Radio Public, Stitcher, and YouTube, or via RSS, so you'll never miss an episode.
And if you enjoy our show, don't forget to give us a high rating.
And remember to tell your friends about the show.
Thanks for listening to our show, and thank you to freesounds.org and Gottlieb, Audio Mirage, Plasterbrain, Cognito Perceptu, FK Prod, Mirage Taser, Shadow Wisp, D-Boss, Viku Seru, Intra Environmental Sound Project, Julian Nicholas, Carmelo Mike, G Kill Hour, 140178 Sound, CMU Sound Design, Alan M. Chi, Der Super Anton, Eric H2000, Bulbastray, FK Phantom, Ultra Dust, Ada Records, Stuart Colborn, Debroid, Cubidup, GJ, Syntax Seed, Inspector J, Astounded, Madge 061785, Just Invoke, Short Record, Lorenzo Sue, and I'm Mackenzie. CreativeCommons.org/licenses/by/3.0/legal code.